Well, thanks very much indeed. I just thought it'd be helpful to talk a bit about the art of debating, of standing up in front of a group, which is what I'm illustrating right now, in fact, isn't it? It is a strange experience to stand up in front of any group, and it does take a little bit of time to do, but there are some techniques that can help you, whatever you're doing, to achieve that. And I think in today's day and age, I worry a bit in the sense that some people are actually more used to actually communicating with each other, even in the same room, by text message than they are actually by talking to each other. But whatever walk of life you end up in, your ability to stand up in front of a group, or indeed an individual or individuals, and make your case as powerfully as possible will be apparent no matter what you actually do, okay? So whichever walk of life you go into, your ability to be able to stand up is going to be important. It's not just in politics as well. You'll be asked to do presentations in every walk of life. So learning how to do exactly what I'm doing right here is something that's worth thinking about too. And there are some easy ways that can make your life a little bit easier to make that happen. The first thing I would do is actually, when you hear somebody that is making a speech on television, an interview, and they're doing well, ask yourselves, why are they doing well? So cross-examine it. Anybody give me an example of somebody who orates, who gives very powerful, very good speeches? Can you name anybody, please? Obama. Okay, that's the name that I had on my mind as well. So, Corbyn, Jeremy Corbyn. Okay, he's very, why is he good? Forget what he's saying, how is he saying it? Passion. Okay, so he believes in what he wants to do. You can look at him in his eyes, he really means what he wants to say. I can't believe I'm talking about Jeremy Corbyn this way. I'll gloss over that. The point though is that that's what politics is about. You want people to believe in what you're actually saying, and you want them to also do it in a measured way. Does he get excited? Does he get rattled by questions? No. In fact, from that perspective, as most MPs should, they don't get frustrated with what's going on. Anybody else? Yes? Sorry? Hitler is not an example I would have jumped to for different reasons. But you're absolutely right. How did he rise to the situation that he became the most powerful person in Germany, pushing out the old political system? Now, he did it through passion, but passion to the point of anger. If you know your history, you'll know that after the First World War, Germany was really sat on by the rest of the world. They had to pay a lot of money back to the cost of the First World War. It angered Germans. Why are we still having to pay this money back? And Hitler was able to take advantage of that national anger and turn it into his own, what turned out to be very horrible direction of travel. But you're right, as an orator, he gave speeches with a huge passion, but obviously complete misdirection. Anybody else? Any more positive things? Yes? Nigel Farage, very interesting. Now, why is he an interesting person, different to, let's say, some of these other characters? What does he bring across?
He's very charismatic.
So, argue any point. Very versatile in what he wants to do. He's very charismatic. Is there something else about Nigel Farage? Is he not very, does he not come over as very ordinary? You know, the guy in the pub sort of thing. That's the sort of image he tries to portray. He deliberately goes to the pub to have a pint with that, cloth cap on, in order to be that person, to say, to be very chatty. Anybody else think of? Winston Churchill, okay? Now, different time period that he was in, he wanted to speak for the nation, he wanted to have that gravitas, that sense of belonging, but also to bring the country together. But what links many of these people, particularly Obama and Winston Churchill, is the massive pauses that they have in between the words that they use. Now, I've over-illustrated that. There is a tendency when you speak to want to speak fast. And my first tip is that when you are speaking, if you slow it down to the point that you're noticing that you're slowing down, you're then at the right speed that is good. When you hear yourself feeling, oh my goodness, I'm now really slow, you're probably at a pace that allows people to hear each sentence and digest it. Because if you speak really fast, people can't speak up with you and they don't know what you're talking about, okay? So you need to speak at a pace that takes people with you. The second thing is know what you're going to say. And an easy way to get around that, and you were told this at the beginning, introduce your name. My name is so-and-so, I'm from this school. It started you off already. It's an easy thing to say. You should really know your name by now. You should know the school that you come from. Easy stuff. And then have a structure of what you're actually going to say. And I would suggest you have 3 points followed by a conclusion. And the conclusion is important because that's what's the last thing people remember. Somebody give me a subject to talk about right now. A simple subject, not Schrodinger's wave equation or something, but yes. Paradise Papers. Okay, thank you for that. I look forward to replying to that one. The Paradise Papers. What am I going to say about that? Let's say in 20 seconds. Paradise Papers is something which is now very topical. It's all to do with evasion of taxes and dodging of taxes. It is something that's come about because of multilateral corporate operations not being in one country but actually being many, and it is something which the law hasn't kept up. I believe, in conclusion, that this is something that troubles every member of Parliament, and it's something that we should do something about. Now, I just made all that up, okay? But I tried to do it in a logical way, and in my mind straight away I had 3 bullet points with a conclusion as well. So if you have a point to make in this next debate that we're going on, particularly if it's in reaction, because that's what we want to do. We want a reaction here. Somebody will say something, okay, Sam said this, and I don't believe in that. Okay, jot down 1 or 2 bullet points that you want to do so you have it. So use the pieces of paper, if you got so, just to scribble down the points so that you can react to it, because that then becomes a good debate, all right? You can do it polite way, and that always actually works too. So starting well and ending well, that's my final bullet point. Make sure that you start well with the opening line. Your opening line will capture whether people are going to listen to you or not. I disagree with that person because. All right, disagreement, a bit of friction. What's he going to say? Because. And then your final comment, and the reason, and that's again, you underline the point, and that's what then people will remember. And you do that, and you've got a simple argument put together, and that can be the basis of a sort of mini speech itself. Okay? Final comment. When I was your age, I was really nervous. I was very quiet, and I was a very shy individual, okay? I suffer from dyslexia, so I had a problem with my speech as well. It took me a long time for me to come out of my shell. I then joined the armed forces, that gave me confidence too. So whatever stage you're at now, no matter how you are now, whether you're the person that feels, I'm not there, I'm not speaking so much, a lot of it is just to do with your own confidence, which you can actually work on. So if you like doing karaoke at home with a spoon and singing in front of the mirror or whatever, or if you like just repeating lines and so forth, practice that at home, because it's all to do with confidence, and you can become a very eloquent, a very smart, and very impressive speaker, no matter what stage you are at school. Let's have a really good debate. Now that I've said all that, we need to look forward to a fantastic standard of speeching, but really good stuff to be able to hear you talk today. And over to you, sir.
Thank you, Tobias.